Okay, we're recording. Okay. Guys, I'm so excited to have Nicole on here tonight. She brings the fire every single time. If you guys have never been on one of her Zooms, you're missing out. Pumps me up. And so I'm so excited to have her on. But I'm going to have her share her story and then kind of take over because I don't know if all of you guys have heard her story before, but it changed my life. So, girl, go ahead and just take it from the top.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Nicole. I've been in the business for a little over 4 years. I don't know, 4 years and a month or so. And I joined this business when I was in dental hygiene school. I just wanted $300 a month to, I always laugh because Kelsey would always say like hair and nail money. And that was kind of like my motive, even though I wasn't allowed to have nails in hygiene school. I don't follow any rules. So that's what my goal was, $300 a month. And I joined in my first 2 months. I think I made like $500. And I was like, this is cool. The girl that enrolled me had quit right away, and I really had no idea what I was doing, but I just knew that if other people could do it, then so could I. And I've always had that mindset through my entire life. There's nothing that someone else could do that I can't. So if you really get into that mindset that no one at the top is special and you can literally do anything you put your mind to, that will carry you all the way through this business. So that's with anything in life. If I wanted to be a doctor, I knew I could have. So when I was in hygiene school, they told us that if we planned on passing hygiene school, that we couldn't have a job. I was in the most demanding hygiene program in Connecticut. It's very, very hard to get into. And once you got into it, that was like your whole life. And they were literally like, if you plan on working, you're not going to pass. And I was like, well, I have to work. Like I commute to school. I have to work in order to get myself here. So I was working at a bank on the weekends, and I was in a hygiene school nonstop. I mean, like nonstop. It was ridiculous. And then I picked up this business in my last freaking semester. I don't know what the heck I was thinking, but I did it. And I was just like, whatever. If I could work, they told me not to work at all. I'm doing fine working at the bank. So why not add something else to my plate? I literally had no time. I was constantly studying. Boards were coming up, and it was just like the craziest time of my life, and I still made it work. In my first, like I said, 2 months, I made $500, and I was like, cool. If I could make this like every month, I'm so set. When I graduate hygiene school, I'm going to be making so much money with that. I'm so set. And then I failed my boards. So I graduated hygiene school and I failed my boards. And hygiene boards suck. They are insane. It's a total of 3 tests. One of them is 8 hours. You literally sit in a cubicle for 8 hours. And yeah, if you're a nurse, like your boards are nothing. We sat for 8 hours in a cubicle. We had clinical boards, and we had another test that went along with clinical boards, and I failed. And I had to redo it all. So you take your boards, and then you have to wait. So ridiculous. You have to wait like 2 months to get your results. And if you fail, you have to wait 3 months to retest. And then when you retest 3 months later, you have to wait those 2 months again to get your results. Scam, total scam. So I was like, all right, I'm out for X amount of months. It was like easily like 7 or 8 months. So I was like, all right, I either need to pick up more hours at the bank or pick this up. And that's when I was like, why would I pick up more hours at the bank? I can do this. I put my head down. My biggest tip is find people that are local to you, even if they're not on your team, if they're sideline, whatever. Just hang out with like-minded people, and that will carry you through the business. I started hanging out with, I had a very powerful group of people near me, Cassie Westland, Cassie Montoya, whatever, she was Montoya at the time, Nyara, Emily Wersing, Lindsay Burgundy, Sasha, like we all lived within like 40 minutes of each other. And we just started hanging out. I didn't know any of them, but I was just like, whatever. I mean, I could like talk to a wall. So it was very easy for me to just like go to Cassie's house. So we just started all hanging out, and that's when it really we just became this powerhouse group of people. And I encourage you to find people that are local to you, again, if they're on your team or not, and just really hang out with them, because that was a game changer for my business. So I finally passed my boards. I started working full-time dental hygiene, and then the school that I went to called me to teach. And I was like, wow, okay, I failed my boards. You really want me to teach? And they wanted me back. So I was working full-time dental hygiene, and I was teaching 15 hours a week dental hygiene, and I was a top 150 income earner. So that's a huge part of my story that it's, I know everyone's life is like crazy and busy, but you can 100% be anywhere you want to be in this business if you put in the time and the effort. Because I was working 55 hours a week, but that doesn't even count in commuting. I was commuting to clinics all over the state of Connecticut. They were sending me, like, sometimes it was an hour drive one way. So 55 hours was really like 60 to 65 hours with my commuting. And I would just wake up earlier, we'll get into all this, but wake up earlier, go to bed later, just any little bit, any pocket of time I could find, I was working this business. I was not like doing stuff that doesn't make me money. But we'll get into all that after. So I was like, okay, if I could go double diamond, well, first it was like, if I could go diamond, I could cut back one day of work. I hated working so much. I hated saying no to my friends and family constantly. I went from someone who was like always everywhere, literally, to never being anywhere because I was working so much and the money was great. I mean, another big like part is if you were never like struggling, I never struggled. Even when I was in college, I had like $10,000 in my savings account, but I ran as that broke college student because I never wanted to touch that. But my point of this is, if you're not like totally struggling, don't put this business on the back burner because of that. Because I could have very well been like, I don't really need the money. Like, I have the money. But I didn't have that mindset. I was just like, I love money and I want more of it. And let's be real. And what am I trying? Oh, so when my school called me back to teach, I was making $77 an hour teaching. And my paychecks were I was bringing in so much money with dental hygiene, and it still never stopped me from doing this business to the max. Like, I was never like, oh, well, I'm making a lot of money there anyway, so I don't really have to push. So if you're not struggling, please don't put this on the back burner, because don't put it on the back burner because it will change your life. We'll keep going. Okay. So I was like, if I could go diamond, I could cut back one day of work and hang out with my friends and family more. And then that happened. And we bought our first house. And then we got engaged. And we paid for our wedding in cash. And then I went double diamond. And I was only double diamond for 2 months before I went triple. And that's when massive things started happening. I was actually at a wrap party, and my car got totaled. I was able to get a new car without even thinking about it. And it's just little things like that were like, whoa, like, what do I have my hands on right now? I would have, like, if my car had gotten totaled like a year before that, I don't even know what I would have done. So it's just little things like that were just like really eye-opening. And fast forward now, we sold I'm 27 and I've owned 3 houses. So keep dreaming bigger, guys. My first house we bought right when I went diamond, and then we sold that. We moved to South Carolina into a house that we loved. And then after a year of living there, I was like, all right, like, we're on to bigger and better things. And now we are in like our dream house, the house we looked at before we moved to South Carolina, but just wasn't in the budget. And now we live in it. So it's just so crazy what happens and what you could do when you really put your mind to something. And now me and Craig work full time from home. I do not practice dental hygiene anymore. I do not miss it. Everyone always asks, do you miss working your job? Honestly, no. I loved hygiene just because I love people, and I was able to like talk to people all the time. But I get to talk to even more people doing this. So no, I don't miss my job. I worked really hard for my degree. It's so much more rewarding in so many aspects. The money obviously is more rewarding, but the quality of life that you have when you own your own time, and I'll never forget, Mira Denning said this to me, like, the quality of life when you don't have to report to anyone is worth, there's no price you could put on it. Like, we can make $1 million a month And there's no price you could put on being your own boss and just being in control of your life and being able to do the things that you want to do. So Craig and I have that ability now. And then I know I'm telling my story for a while, but one thing I can encourage you guys to do is just work really, really hard, even when you don't want to, because of all the effort I put into this business before we found out my dad was sick. I lost my dad in May of cancer, and we found out, and it was like 6 months, and then he passed away. So it was very quick, and you would have never known my dad was sick. He was he was just a wild child. You would have never known he was sick. And when we found out, it was such a shock because we were like, what? Like, I was just like playing beer pong with him, doing chest bumps, and now we're finding out he has a huge tumor in his lung. And like, I was like, Dad, like, how did that not hurt when we were like being crazy? So you would have never known. And because of the work that I put into this before we found out, unfortunately, shit's going to hit the fan for all of us. Life is going to happen. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't, but it will. And because of everything we put in, we had the ability to spend as much time as possible with my dad. Like, I cannot sit here and say that I didn't spend as much time as I could with him, because I spent so much time because of this business. We were able to cover all of our bills here in South Carolina, and also rent a condo in Connecticut and pay those bills and be with him for months on end. We were there like all of November, December, January last year. And it's just crazy, because living in South Carolina, I can truly say that I spent more time with him living in South Carolina than I would have if I lived in the same town as him and was working my full-time job, because my 65 hour weeks would not have allowed me to spend that much time with him. So that's a huge part of my story. Now I need some water.
No, I love it. I actually heard about you in May last year, because I was going triple when your dad passed away. You did a Zoom right after it. And you were like, when he passed away, you gave yourself a day. And what really stuck with me is I lost my grandpa in May too. And so I gave myself a day, and then I was like, all right, we're going back. And so I have always loved that you have this attitude of, no matter what, I'm getting my goals and I'm crushing them, and I'm going to just do whatever it takes. And so I know you have so much that you could talk about that. And so I'm just going to let you keep going. But I
was going to say, that must have been the boom Zoom. Oh gosh. That was like the day after my dad passed away, and I was like fired up. But yeah, I mean, whatever, I just want you to know that, again, unfortunately, shit's going to hit the fan, whether it's something as huge as that or something just smaller, but you have to put in work when you don't want to, so that the times that you need time to yourself, you can do that, and you can take a day or two or whatever you need off. But I can encourage you that as much as something's going to suck in your life, unfortunately is still going to go on. Like, me and my dad were like this. Like, my mom, I was in top 150, and my mom still thought I was crazy for doing this. And like, I could have sold dog shit in a bag, and my dad would have been like, yeah, keep it going. Like, he was so supportive. So him and I were just very, very close. And it was like he's gone, but I'm 20. I was 20. How old was I? I just turned 27. I'm like, but I'm 27 and I have so much more to go. So what am I going to do? Give up on this because I'm so sad right now? And I just worked through it. And another powerful thing about this business is the people that you have in your corners. Like, my team, I leaned on my team, and it was just really, really, I don't know, it was just great. And the people that I have are great. So, okay, I'm trying to think. Well, let me just start with like some tips on working while working. And so when I was working like my crazy hours, I always tell people, if you want to be successful in this, you need to give this at least 1 hour of quality work a day. Now, I encourage you to do much more than that, but you need to be putting in at least 1 hour a day. Now, that doesn't mean you get out of work and you sit at a desk for 1 hour. You can split that hour up into different times. So here's exactly what I did. I woke up 15 minutes earlier than I needed to every single day. It sucked, but I did it. So I woke up 15 minutes earlier and I put in a quality 15 minutes. Now, it gets really hard for us, because we work on social media, it's very easy to get caught in the scroll and like, you know, I always say like watching a giraffe give birth. If you guys remember that on Facebook, that was going on for like 87 years. And it's really easy to get caught up in that and just like, you're like, oh, I work on Instagram, and you're just scrolling through Instagram doing nothing, but you're like, I work on Instagram, so I'm working. And yeah, it doesn't work like that. So 15 minutes earlier than I needed to every day, and I would put in quality work there, following people, messaging people, unfollowing people, whatever I had to do. And then, okay, so I loved my coworkers. We were very, very close. If you guys have ever like felt, if you've ever been in a good dental office, you'll feel the connection. We were like family, literally. And we always had 1 hour lunch break, which turned into like a half-hour lunch break. But something I want to stress to you guys is don't put yourself in a box for this business. Like, don't shut out your friends. Don't become like just someone. I work nonstop, but I still have a lot of fun. So don't like shut out your friends and do all this stuff. So in my 30-minute lunch break, I was like, okay, I'm going to spend 15 minutes with the girls, and we're going to eat, and we're going to talk about whatever the heck we would talk about. But then instead of spending a half hour with them, I'm going to spend 15 minutes sitting in my hygiene chair. If you don't have a place where you can like shut everyone out, go sit in your damn car if you have to. But that was my next 15 minutes on my lunch break. Okay, so now I put in 30 minutes of quality work already. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes of my lunch break. And then, this is the best one. This is like where you'll put in the most work ever. When you get out of work and you want to sit in your car and just like drive home because you're so sick of work and you just want to be home, sit in your car for 15 minutes. You will get done so much work in those 15 minutes because you will be so ready to go home. So I would sit there, and all my coworkers would leave. They beep, they wave, and I'm just like, hey, bye. And I was working on my phone, and I would get 15 minutes in there, and boom, I'm at 45 minutes for the day. And then right before bed, 15 minutes before I went to bed, I would put in 15 minutes more of quality work. And of course, I would fit in time in between. When I got home from work, like I had some spare time there, and I would fit in more. But if you can fit in one quality hour, I just gave you 15-minute intervals, then you will find success in this. But of course, fit in more if you can. I don't know. I feel like I need guidance, and then I'll start yelling. Like trying to think of like what to talk about. I panic under pressure.
It's okay. Okay, so when you worked full time, what did you have like a daily list that you did every day, or did you just like, you know, these are the things that were my non-negotiables that I'm going to do no matter what? You know, what was that kind of like for you?
I mean, I definitely have non-negotiables every single day. You'll never find a day that I don't follow people on Instagram and on Facebook. Well, there will never be a day that I don't. Honestly, the day my dad passed away, I still messaged people. And a lot of people are like, that's kind of heartless. You might be thinking that, but it's not. It took me 5 minutes to send out a bunch of messages, and then I put my phone away. And another thing that I want to stress when you're like working or when you're busy is if people are interested once, they're interested for life. And don't feel like because you can't answer someone in 1 minute that they're not going to be interested anymore. I think everyone in the world realizes that people are busy. And I'm not giving you a freebie so that if you're not busy, you can like not answer someone right away. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be like, oh, well, I'm watching a show. I'll answer them in 20 minutes because Nicole said it's okay. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're at work and you can't have your phone, because I almost got fired like 12 times for always being on my phone. Got so bad I bought an Apple Watch and I'd be in my room. I'd have a patient. I'm like, with the 90-day challenge, my patient's like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, be quiet, Carrie. Anyways, so that's what my life turned into, and I almost got fired 100 times. But I had that mindset that if I didn't answer someone right then, they were going to be frustrated and they weren't going to be interested. But just know, like, answer people as soon as you can, and just know that if it takes you an hour or 2 hours or whatever because you're at work, don't get overwhelmed. It's okay. Everyone's busy. But following people, unfollowing people, I don't do them in the same day. I follow people. Usually my ratio like standard was if your following ever gets 1,000 above your followers, that's when you spend a day or two unfollowing. That was always, this is Instagram. I'm like mostly Instagram. I don't really know anything about Facebook. So that was my thing. If your following gets 1,000 over your followers, that's when you unfollow for a few days. Messaging, posting. I mean, guys, if you're not posting, you're not open. Hold on. The Frenchie just busted the door open and my husband's watching a movie. It's super loud. Come on, look. Come on.
Dude, guys, drop a 1 in the chat if you are getting so much information from this already. I love it. She cracks me up every single time, too.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, Zoom without the dogs.
So, okay, so I would follow, I would message, I would post. Okay, so posting, like if you're not posting, you're not open. And thank you. And I am a firm, like I post every day. I think we got into this mindset for a little bit that the algorithm on Instagram didn't want us to post every day. And then I had a little chat with Bernie Hayes, who posts like 4 times a day. And she was like, likes don't equate to dollars, Nicole. Like you're posting every other day or every 3 days because you get more likes. And I'm like, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not. And she's like, no, that's what it is. You get more likes because your algorithm, like whatever, boosts it up, whatever. But likes don't equate to dollars. And she was like, you can get 1,000 more likes than me, but at the end of the day, I enroll more. And I was like, okay, Brittany Hayes. Okay. So that's what really was like opened my eyes. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to posting every single day, because when I went double to triple in 2 months, that's what I was doing. So I went back to posting every single day. I love posting. I post on my page, mostly about the business. I not very rarely, but I post way more about the business on my page than I do about the products. I do throw in product posts every once in a while, but my story is my store. That's where I'm showing all the before and after pictures, all the good stuff. At the end of the day, people want to see results pictures. I was a customer before I was a distributor, and what got me to sign up was seeing a results picture. People want to see results pictures. When you're sharing results pictures, I can encourage you to mix up your results. Put thin girls, put bigger girls, put older people, put younger people, because you want to just show everyone a variety. Because someone, I can see, like my girl Taylor's on, like Taylor's super thin. So like someone looking at my story might see a bunch of bigger girls and be like, I don't need that because I'm thin. Or a bigger girl might look through and see a bunch of thin girls and they're like, that's not going to work for me because they're all thin. Make sure you're mixing in all different results so that it relates to everyone. And no one can think this won't work for me because I'm not this. So my store is my story is my store. That's where I'm sharing those results pictures. Every once in a while, I'll throw a results picture on my page, but I am all about my story. Also, the algorithm sucks. We all know it, but your stories, the stories lined up, still go in chronological order. So every hour or every 2 hours, I upload something to my story to get me bumped to the front. If you are like out shopping and you're like, I have nothing to post, literally take a picture of the clothes and be like, shopping day. Just something. Boost yourself up to the front, because if someone was at work and they missed your results pictures, well, you're getting bumped back every time one of their friends posts a new story. All you do is throw something up like this little shithead right here. He's on my story constantly, because when I don't have something to post, I just go into my old videos and he's like the funniest thing ever. So I just post a video and it bumps me right to the front. So that's something I encourage you to do, is make sure you're on top of your stories. You'll start noticing your story views going up drastically when you do that. I was always averaging like 300, and now I average like 800-900 story views ever since I started doing every hour or every other hour. Don't like go crazy about it, but My point is, don't wake up in the morning for your 15 minutes of quality work, upload 50 stories, and then not anything for the rest of the day. You want to break it up so that you keep getting bumped to the front. Non-negotiables. Okay, so since forever, okay, you guys know we always say you got to do self-development. If you're not growing your mindset, you're not growing your paycheck. You guys all know this. So for the last 3 years now, I've been doing self-development. I thought I was doing self-development. I would listen to audiobooks, I would watch YouTube videos, and I would work while doing it, which means I did not retain anything. Can you guys that have your cameras on raise your hand if you've done that? So I'm like, okay, I've read like 50 books through Audible, and then I honestly couldn't tell you what happened in any of them. That's like so serious. Finally, I linked up with Britt Grimes, another presidential, and we were like, all right, what are we going to do? So we started this book, I don't know, book club, I guess. And her and I buy hard copy books, and then we mail them to each other. So it's a great way if you guys are like saving money. Also, Amanda, I don't know, Amanda on my team, I don't know if she's on here, but she got a library card. So smart. I'm like, why did I not think of this? But anyways, I can't read. I can read, but I can't read very well. So it would take me like a year to finish a book. So I buy the Audible and I have the hard copy. And now I dedicate time to self-development where I'm actually retaining the self-development. And it has been a game changer. So I buy a book, and I would put my phone away and I'll read one chapter of it. I'll highlight with it to make sure that I'm focusing. And it's been amazing. Britt and I will text each other. She even texted me like 3 days ago, and she was like, I've learned more in the last 20 minutes than I have in the last 3 years. And like, it's so true. So if you guys are saying you're doing self-development and you think about it, sorry, Lily. It's okay. And you think about it and you're like, I'm not retaining anything. Yeah, you guys are nodding. So I'm glad we're all on the same page here. Get a hard copy book, get the Audible too. If you're good at reading, just read the book. But I can encourage you, you need to read. Was it Brittany Hayes? No, it was Kelsey. Shout out to Kelsey. She was like, all the successful people say you need to wake up early and read books. So who are you to think that you don't have to do that and you could still be successful? And I was like, all right, I feel that. So I started reading books. And yeah, so when you're doing self-development, make sure you're really being intentional with it. If you like aren't going to get hard copies or whatever, and you're going to continue to watch YouTube, watch it while you're in the shower. Well, listen to it while you're in the shower. Listen to it while you're driving when you don't have other things to focus on. So those are like my non-negotiables. Another thing that I just want to touch on quick before I have you jump back in and tell me something else to talk about is this was a big struggle for me. Now, I don't know what like ranks you guys are, what's going on in your business, but two things that really I watch people on my team all the time struggle with this, and I struggled with this in the beginning. One, being a mean leader, and two, having a mindset that you can't promote if your team isn't working. This is something I really struggled with. When I went diamond, I had one person working on my team, and I pretty much did it on my own. And when I went double, I didn't have the strongest team. I had a few more workers, but I was carrying that on my back. You guys have to have that mind. This is your promotion. This is your paycheck. And you shouldn't be depending on anyone else. So if you look at your diamond chart and you're like, okay, I need 6,000 volume, you better think you need to get 6,000 volume. And if someone under you gets an LC, then that's just an added bonus. Don't ever be like, okay, well, this person's an emerald and they're going to need this much so they can handle that. Like, you need to have the mindset of, I need to enroll this to hit this rank. It is your promotion. And you can get in the mindset of, well, emerald is their promotion. Stop. It's your promotion. You have to work for it. Don't let anyone get in your way. When I went diamond, my top line box canceled the day before the end of the month, and it was awful, and I still made it work. I enrolled a DT and I got those customers, and I just made it work. So it doesn't matter who is working under you. If you have that mindset that if others can do it, then so can I. you will be successful. But whatever you need for your promotion, you got to have that mindset of, I need to enroll that. And if blah, blah, blah under me gets an LC, freaking sweet. But do not count on anyone for your promotions but yourself. And don't be a mean leader. Don't get frustrated with your team if they're not enrolling the way that you want to be. Just push harder to get through it and get the volume that you need. But there's something very, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but when you start getting mad at your team for not enrolling, it's going to do nothing but hurt you more. And you find you start to talk to people differently. I see this all the time with my downline, and it's something I really work with people on. So just don't get mad at your downline ever. Just always be there for them. And that's coming from a red. I could freaking get mad at anyone at any time, but it's not going to benefit your business. So if people are not enrolling the way that you want to, just work with them and be like, what is it that we can change about what you're doing? Not, what the fuck are you doing? And why are you enrolling? So that's something, I don't know, I just felt like I had to say.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the biggest things I see, especially with people that are going for like lower ranks, like not, the diamond's a lower rank, but like your first big promotion, especially with nobody working, is I've heard a lot, well, I've done a lot of the work and I don't really want to give them the paycheck.
Oh, I should talk about that.
Yeah. And so I'm going to let you talk about it, but I have heard it so many times. Guys, for the first few people down below you still make the same amount of commissions. And in the end, you're still going to get your rank, okay? I had this mindset, and I went to a conference last year, and I talked to Stephanie Dunn one-on-one about this issue. I probably sounded really ignorant to her, okay? But she told me, you cannot think about it that way. You got to think about what behind the scenes might be going on in their life, and God put them in your life for a reason, and you have no idea what that paycheck that you're going to give them is going to bless them with. And at the end of the day, I promoted with people not working. At the end of the day, when you hit that promotion, you're not like, oh my gosh, I so wish they would have worked so hard. Like, you don't regret it. You still get your promotion. And if you keep waiting, or if you let your pride get in the way, you're never going to hit that promotion. Go ahead.
Literally all I say about this topic is enjoy your $50, $100, $200. Thank you for my $2,000. When you're talking about diamond, or when you're talking about, even if you're talking about triple, and you promote a diamond that's not really, have fun with their paycheck isn't going to be $2,000 if they're not working as hard as you are. But have fun with your $1,000, $2,000 paycheck. Thank you for my $8,000. That's all you got to think about.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your best tips for LC enrollments? Like, do you do host to post a lot? Do you message? Do you get it through posting? What's that like for you?
I would honestly say it's about 50-50 with messaging and with my stories. I would be nowhere without messaging people. It's a huge part of my business. I just offer, if you guys are scared of messaging people, please don't be. You will get people that say no, you will get people that don't answer, and you will get people that say yes, and you'll get people that say, I'm so glad you messaged me. I've been watching you for a year now, and I've been really scared to reach out. So I would be nothing without messaging. I just very, very nicely say, hi, I have health and wellness products I would love to tell you about. I could offer you my wholesale pricing. Would you be interested in hearing more? Or something that's really powerful to say is, would you be open-minded to hearing more? I feel like when you say open-minded, people, it just kind of changes, like, well, yeah, I'm an open-minded person. Even if they were going to say no, it's like, I feel like it's harder to say no to, are you open-minded? So that's something that I have in my message. And again, with the results pictures on my story, I get people swiping up all the time. Make sure you're always doing a call of action, whether it's a life post, a business post, or a business story, or a product story, or a product post. People, if you're just like text me for more info, people don't know what to say. Like, hey, I saw your post, can you tell me? Like, they don't want to think about that. So always do a call of action. Okay. Call to action, text lose to da 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 da, or swipe up and message, or swipe up and type lose, swipe up and type opportunity, whatever it is. Make sure you're doing a call to action. Give them something to say to you so they don't have to think about it. So yeah, messaging in my stories, make sure you're sharing those results pictures, and please don't feel like if your stories aren't these extravagant, fancy stories that you're not going to find people that swipe up, because I swear to you, it's the simple stories that get me the most interaction. My dogs are driving me nuts right now. I'm sorry. I literally will put a results picture and I'll be like, keto coffee is the bomb. And then I look at Cassie's stories and they're like, all these crazy pictures and like flashing things, and I don't even know how she makes them, but keto coffee is the bomb, works for me. So don't feel like you have to spend hours of your time putting in all this effort into these stories to make them all fancy, because it's simplicity that people love. We all love simplicity. I own my time. I have nothing to do, but you guys know what I mean. I don't have kids. I work from home. I have nothing to do all day, and I still crave simplicity. So when you're looking at stories, when people are looking at stories, they see a results picture, they see a boom, this is what this is, and they're going to swipe up. They don't need all the flashy things. Flashy things are great, but don't waste your time on it, is my point. And don't feel like you can't sign people up if you don't have these extravagant stories, because it's the plain stuff that people love. Simplicity is everything in life and in this business. Don't overcomplicate things. And that's when you'll start noticing. I mean, if I saw like a big story with a lot of writing, I told you guys, I don't know how I passed hygiene school, because I really suck at reading. Like all of that stuff would like confuse me. And I would just be like, okay, I'm just going to click through this because it's like hurting my brain. So again, that simplicity is everything for people. When people are super busy and they're looking at a story, they are going to crave simplicity. And then randomly I'll throw, I love the cleanse. It's like one of my top products ever. So I'll just throw a random cleanse picture on my feed, and just something simple like drop an emoji or text me, and I always get some interaction. Now I don't do it all the time. I probably do it like once every 2 months when I'm really, really wanting some volume. I throw a random cleanse post up on my page, and I usually get a lot of interaction from that. But I enroll a few from Host to Post. I am in no way, shape, or form saying Host to Post isn't the bomb. I do not work Host to Post the way that I should. So take that with a grain of salt. If I worked Host to Post as much as I worked messaging, I would enroll a lot through Host to Post. So it's all what you're putting your time into. Like I used to say, Facebook doesn't work for me. Instagram's where it's at. And Emily Wersing would say, well, do you put as much time into Facebook than you do to Instagram? I'm like, no, not even a quarter of the time. She's like, then you can't compare them. And it kind of blew my mind. Just like Host to Post, I can't say that it doesn't really work because I don't really work it. So Host to Post is great too. I have a girl on my team who's constantly enrolling from Host to Post, but I just don't work it the way that I should.
Oh, I think that's good because everybody does things completely differently. And so if you're somebody that's more comfortable with messaging, then this is just right up your alley and so perfect for you. Okay, so, oh shoot, I lost. Oh, okay, so I know as a red, so I'm 80% red and 0% yellow, and I attract people that are like 80% yellow. And I'm sure that you probably do too, because opposites attract. But how do you, as a red, without being that dominant, mean leader, say, okay, this is where we're going. You have, because we have to create that vision. You create that vision, you push it. How do you kind of just take charge with your team and, show them, what they need to do or where they're going? You kind of know what I'm saying, hopefully.
Yeah, this is always like such a hard question for me because I don't, like, I'm so red. Like, I get frustrated. Like I was saying before, you just can't get frustrated with your team. I get frustrated with my team. I just never show it. I just would never tell them because you want to cast vision against your team. You want to cast vision to your team. And if you're angry, they're going to be angry. And honestly, I get asked this a lot, and I honestly never really know how to answer it. I have just become such an understanding person, and I'm so good at being red and nice about it. It's weird. I don't know. But I can talk pretty much any distributor that's going to quit. I can talk them out of it because I'm super red, but I'm super nice about it. I'm like very strict and very straight to it. And with my team, if someone's, I'm like zero bullshit, zero excuses, like don't even come near me with it. And I will call anyone out at any time about it. But I'm just so nice about it. And I don't even, like, again, I don't really know how to answer this, but there's a nice way of getting your point across and there's a mean way of getting your point across. And you just have to be so understanding. And something that I talk about so many other leaders, but Emily Worsing is one of my best friends. I'm in her wedding, and we were talking. She does a lot of Grant. She works a lot with Grant Cardone, and one of his biggest tips is you always have to understand and relate to people. So even if I'm venting to Emily as her friend, not even about the business, she's like, I understand. But so I think that's a really important thing when it comes to leadership too. You can tell someone how it is, but if you're like, I understand where you're coming from, it kind of gives them, a different aspect. So just be really understanding. I don't know if I'm answering this question. I'm going to stop talking in a second, but just be really understanding. You could be harsh, but be nice all at the same time. You could really say something harsh in a really nice way.
Yeah, I completely agree. So with somebody who has these high anxiety levels, has like no sense, not a very good sense of direction, they're a little bit newer, how do you guide them in that area without being like, this is what you're doing, go do it, get back to you when it's done, because some leaders will get like that.
Oh yeah.
You can't do that because you're going to lose people. So how do you guide them in that way?
Well, what's that quote? Help me out. People, I don't know if I'm saying this right. People will work hard for money, but they'll die for recognition. And you have to just always be encouraging. Always. I think I signed up, like, this was so overwhelming for me, but I think I signed up 7 distributors the other day. And in one day, and I'm still a little overwhelmed about it. But 2 of the girls are really struggling, and they're like, one signed a customer and one has not. And they're both like, I feel like I'm not doing good, blah, blah. And I'm like, you are doing freaking great. They are constantly texting me. They're constantly sending me screenshots. They're posting. And if they're not posting, they're like, what do I post? And just everyone needs to focus more on positive, like just telling people what they're doing great. I think we all kind of fell off of that because if you're like not enrolling 50 LCs a month, we're like, you're not doing good enough. I think we all got caught up in that. And I'm like so excited for my new girls, the fact that they're messaging and the fact that even if they get one freaking answer, that's a victory. And just make sure you are giving people positive affirmations and you're always, always encouraging them. Shout them out in team pages just for sending a lot of screenshots, like little things like that. And that's what's going to create this trust because they know that you see their hard work. Because when people first join this is freaking terrifying. Like putting yourself out there, messaging strangers, putting pictures. Like I have a new girl who's a freaking savage. I don't know if she's on here because she's a teacher, but she joined on the 4th. She's 500 away from Ruby, blowing my mind. And she did the cleanse, has great results, and she could not post it. Like we talked about it, and I was like, you will go Ruby tomorrow if you post these results pictures. They her results pictures blew my mind. And I was like, you got to post it. And we talked about it, and I was like, I understand. I was really scared too. If you're really not comfortable, it's fine. But if you are, I can help you with the caption. And she was like, I'm going to post them now just because you said that. Just because you were like, it's fine if you're not comfortable. Like, just don't push people to really, they're already so out of their comfort zone. And if they're doing little things out of their comfort zone, little things with positive affirmations are going to turn into big things. So don't just throw everything at someone and be like, you're not sending 100 messages and posting every day and put your results pictures up of your stomach. And have you not asked your family? Like, it's little steps with positive affirmations that will go so much farther. It might take them a little farther, a little bit longer to find the success. And you might want them to go Ruby in their first month. And maybe that's not in the cards for them. Everyone has their own different story. But just positive affirmations, little things. These girls, I'm like, you are doing awesome. And I truly mean it. Like, they're really, really doing awesome. Although they're not enrolling what they want to be enrolling, they're putting themselves out there. And that's keeping them there. That's making that trust. And they will be lifers just because we are creating such a great friendship. So I don't even know what the question was, but that's my answer.
No, that was good. So what the heck were you doing that you signed 7 DTs in one day?
Oh my God, it was nuts. I think I followed up. Was it a follow-up? Oh, one post I did the other day got me a lot of interaction. Let me look at my page to remember which one it was. Oh, it was this one. It was just a picture. The picture doesn't really matter, but here's my picture. I was sitting at my desk, but the caption, I remember when, first of all, think back to what post it was that got you to join. I don't remember shit. I have the worst memory ever. And I remember exactly what that post said. She was like, I make money from my phone. All the money I make from my phone pays for my rent, and everything else I make at the gym is extra, and I get to do what I want and pay my other bills with it. And I was like, lit. I live with my parents. I don't have rent. So if I can make money from my phone, I could get a new car and get my nails done. So just try to think about what that post was and recreate it. Remember that. If you guys can drop in the comments, like, the dollar amount that you joined for, like I said, mine was $300. That's what I wanted a month. So 500, okay, you're already proving my point. 500, 500, 500, 200. You guys get the point. 500. No one joins this business with a goal of making $10,000 a month. Very few people do. Some people do. Some people are savages. But most people join this business for $500. So stop getting in this mindset that if you are not making like double, triple presidential ambassador averages, that people won't join you, because no one joins for that amount of money. People think, I truly believe this. People at the top are at a disadvantage. It's the newer people that have so much advantage for signing up distributors. Talk about putting gas in your car. I cannot stress the importance of that. People will look at my car and be like, cool, like you bought a Mercedes, like, cool, I can't even put gas in my car. I can honestly lose people's interest just with posting my car. Or if I post putting gas in my car, I'm locking them in. So just remember that people are joining for a couple $100 a month, not a couple thousand. Of course, as they go through the business, their mindset is going to grow and they're going to want more and more and more. But when you are posting about the business, post about everyday things. When I get fast start bonuses, I put them on my story and I'm like, just paid my electric bill. Like, think about the stuff that people hate paying for with their hard-earned money and talk about that. I'm like, paid my homeowner's insurance. That's like in with my mortgage, but people hate paying it, so I talk about it. But that one post that got me a lot of interaction was the reason I got into all of this about posting. I remember 2 of the girls on my team always saying, I wish I could just put my bills on auto pay, because I always forget, and like I got charged a late fee because I paid it one day late because it slipped my mind. I just wish everything could go on auto pay. And all of my bills are on auto pay. I'm so bad. I honestly couldn't tell you anything about my bills. It's horrible. I know it's a bad habit. I'm working on it. But my caption was, 4 years ago, the thought of putting my bills on auto pay stressed me out because there were so many unknowns in my budget. Fast forward today, every bill is on auto pay without a second thought because my social media business covers it all. And it leaves me with so much left over to do the things that I want. Sometimes we don't realize the way we are living shouldn't be normal until we take a step outside the box. I'm here to tell you where you are now doesn't have to be your future, and there's so much more. If you feel stuck in a financial rut, I would love to tell you more about how working off your smartphone could be the solution for you that it was for me. And I got a bunch of texts from that. I think I signed 2 people like on the spot from that one. But just make sure you're just hitting people home. Like, I just remember 2 of my girls saying, I want to be on autopay. I'm like, boom, I got to post about autopay. They can't be the only 2 people in the world that want to be on autopay. People hate putting gas in their car. Boom, I'm going to put it in front of their face all the time that my social media business pays for the gas in my I'm going to put it in front of people all the time that my cell phone bill is covered by a weekly bonus. You guys get the point? You do not have to be at the top to sign distributors. You do not have to be at the top to get to where you want to be. Talk about the small things, and that will get you so much farther than, you could share, we're going to build my dream house because of this business and all the lavish things, but do not forget the simple things. Do not, because everyone joins this business for $500 a month, not $10,000, and so on. Oh, and then I followed up. And it was just a very simple follow. Like, this brings me back to don't overcomplicate things. Like, simplicity is everything. I was just like, hey, it's Nicole. I'm looking for my next emerald, which is an average of $1,000 a month. I've been thinking about you a lot. It's the new year. We got new products. We got new things coming, and I promise you, you don't want to miss this. Boom. Oh, and I use Snapchat. I freaking love Snapchat, dude. It's lit. So I never used to save any of my potentials' phone numbers. I never knew who I was talking to ever. I never knew anything. I still don't know anything, but I saved them in my phone as PDT or PLC. Something new, side note that I've been doing is each month I use a certain emoji. So Christmas was a Christmas tree. December was a Christmas tree. January is 2 champagne glasses because I just think of New Year's Eve. November was a turkey. You get the point. So everyone, I'm adding PLC or PDT, and I'm putting that emoji at the end so that I just know when I kind of started talking to that person. I add everyone on Snapchat, PLC, PDT, I add everyone on Snapchat. And then everything I post on my stories on Instagram, I also post on Snapchat. But when I post, like the other day, I made a big storyline of a bunch of girls on my team and that are charted for Ruby and everything. And I literally it takes forever, but I just, and I click every single PDT in my Snapchat and I send it directly to them. And they get to see the story, like, boom, I sent it to them. So I don't ask me how many people I enroll from Snapchat because I have, again, no idea who I'm talking to. If someone swipes up, I'm like, text me, and I leave my number, and then I get a text from a PDT in my phone. But I love Snapchat. I like using Snapchat.
That's crazy. I've never thought of that.
It's so cool because it's like a way to follow up, but like they're still getting to see the story. Because obviously stories hold so much more than the follow-up messages that we send.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have a text from PDT right now that she goes, hey, you gave me your number on Snapchat.
It worked. Everybody get on Snapchat. Okay, last question. Guys, really fast. If you're going to conference, drop a 2 in the chat. Okay, Nicole, what would be your best advice for somebody going to conference? Because I tell my team all the time, you got to be prepared. You have to know what you're looking for, what you want out of this, et cetera, et cetera. What is your best advice for somebody going into conference so that they can take away the absolute most from the crazy experience of it all?
Cover your eyes because I'm probably going to be running around with no shirt on because the conference is so lit. I'll be so excited. Number one. No, I don't even. Just be present in just soak up all the people on stage. Something that really, like, Ashley, that girl just texted me, please give me feedback when you get a chance, just waiting on you. I swear, I got it right there. Whoa, she's a Reddit. Okay, just be present. Make sure you're just soaking up every bit of the stories, the tips, everything that's going on, because it's really easy to, like, I don't know, just, again, if you're on your phone like constantly, and I'm not one to say don't work at conference. I know there's some leaders that are like, put your phone away and listen to everything. I'm totally working while I'm there, but it's kind of the same thing, as the self-development we were talking about. You could be on your phone and you think you're listening and you have not retained a single thing. So make sure, guys, it's 3 days. Focus, because it might not be my story, it might not be Cammy's, it might not be Kelsey's, it might not be whoever's, but you might hear that one person on stage that you're like, holy shit, here we go. And it might be a story you've heard before, but now they're in front of you and you're in the same room as that person. You're like, oh shit, like I could do this too. I don't know, just soak up every bit and just really be present, and don't be scared to, I don't know. I always say, like, I remember my first conference, I went as a new diamond, and I was so scared of like just saying hi to people. If there's people that like you love, just say hi to them. Just saying hi and taking a quick selfie with like a leader that you love will make you realize that everyone is just as cool as you and just as nice as you, and no one's really special. And yeah, I mean, anything is possible after conference. My first conference, I went as a new diamond. My next conference, I was on stage as top 150, triple diamond, sitting in VIP. And it was just in 1 year, my whole life and business had changed in 1 year. And it was my first conference. And I remember Cassie saying, she just texted me again. Oh my God. She's overwhelming me. My first year I joined, conference was like a month after I joined, and Cassie was like, you gotta come. I'm like, I don't even have a ticket. It was sold out. I'm like, I don't even have a ticket. What am I gonna do? And she's like, just come and sit outside the arena and listen and sleep on the floor, and it doesn't matter, you gotta be there. I'm like, all right, I'm there. And then my dumbass boss wouldn't let me have time off, which is why working for yourself is so great. So I couldn't make it, but my second year in, I guess, I went as a diamond, and then I was top 150 the next year. And when we say it's life-changing, I don't know if you guys have been to conference, all of you that drop twos, or if this is your first, but get ready, because it's honestly incredible. And have fun. Have so much fun, like the glow party. Get ready. But just enjoy yourself. It's not just a business trip, it's a fun trip, and get to really know people. You'll probably meet people that are local to you, which I talked about in the beginning is so important. And just connect with everyone, and it will just be life-changing. And be present, soak in as much as you can. Don't be, too far up your phone the whole time, and just really, I don't know, just get everything. Oh, you guys, your first conference. Woo, 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 woo. Do you add any people on Snapchat? What do you mean? So I don't talk to anyone through social media. I don't talk to anyone through Instagram or Facebook. If they show any interest, I instantly get their phone number. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Send it privately. That's what I say instantly if someone shows interest. If they're like weird about it, which very rarely happens, then I'll talk to them through Instagram, but I'm like instantly getting their phone number so that I can add them and get them on Snapchat. I'm so excited for you guys that are going to your first conference. It's going to be so fun.
Oh, it kills me. Snapchat. I literally don't even Snapchat anybody I know, but I'm going to hop on it.
It's really, I don't know. I love it. And again, I don't know how many people I've like enrolled from it, because I'm just like, text me as soon as they show interest. But it's fun. I don't know. I'm all over Snapchat. And
it fits your personality so well.
and I was just gonna say, like, when it comes to Snapchat, when it comes to Facebook and Instagram stories and stuff, don't just talk about the business. Like, talk about everything. I'm so freaking weird on my stories. Everyone always asks what my Instagram name is. So weird. I'm so weird. Just be. Oh my gosh, it keeps going private. Just be you, and that will carry you so far. I was like, okay, all these bloggers have all these followers, and obviously we want all those followers. So I was like, I'm going to look at these bloggers and I'm going to figure out what they're doing, and I'm going to duplicate that. Because when I first joined, my enroller quit. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, who's successful? I figured out 5 people, and I watched their pages, and I just duplicated what they were doing. And I was like, okay, so I want to have that blogger style Instagram. What am I going to do? Go look at bloggers, duplicate what they're doing. They literally talk about everything. They're like, so this morning I woke up at 8 o'clock, I took a pee, and then I went downstairs and I made some coffee. I had 2 eggs, whisked them, a little bit of milk, 2% milk, not whole. Like, they literally tell you everything. The bloggers that I watch, it's like I could literally write a book about exactly what they do. And I'm like, all right, here we go. This is what I got to do. So, yeah, I'm just all over my story, and I'm just like talking about random shit. I'm super weird, so I do that. I play the game Would You Rather on my story all the time, and it's really fun. And I just do random stuff, like weird stuff, like would you rather have a sex change every time you sneeze or never know the difference between a baby and a muffin? And people are like, what is wrong with your brain? I'm like, I don't know, dude. This is the shit I come up with. Like, well, this is me. And people eat it up. They love it. They swipe up. They're like, I literally get swipe ups all the time, and they're like, I can't even answer. Why did you even think of this? I'm like, I know. Can you imagine walking up to a baby thinking it's a blueberry muffin and you bite it? That's just me. So be you. Don't feel like you have to fit this certain perfect mold. And, I think a lot of people got caught up in if you know who Cassie is, like, I need to look like Cassie. I need to live by the beach. I got to have this bright blue Instagram. And at the end of the day, Cassie, Nay, Emily, Lindsay, we all went VIP living in Connecticut, where our beaches look like puddles. Cassie didn't move to Sarasota, Florida until after she was ambassador. Don't get wrapped up in the I have to live by the beach, have this beautiful Instagram, have blonde hair, be super skinny, and post in bathing suits all the time. Because you do not have to. Anyone can be successful at this. Don't get caught up in the I have to be perfect. Be freaking weird. If you're weird, be like me. Be weird. People will love it.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Nicole. You always bring the heat, but then bring the comedy too, and I love it.
I know. I feel like I didn't even bring any heat, but I was just like, oh, here we go.
Hey, we always get exactly what we need, and so I believe that. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking an hour and 5 minutes out of your evening with us. We're all so grateful, and guys, thanks for hopping on and spending your night.
Thanks for having me.
Bye,
See you at conference. See you at the glow party. You better be ready.